All right. Thank you so much, Maggie, for coming to share your story with everyone. I'm really excited to hear it all encapsulated today.
Thank you so much for having me. Of course.
Or, yeah. Well, do you want to just start out just introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your health history and how you kind of came to the point where you hit your rock bottom with your health?
Absolutely. So I never really considered myself a sick child, but looking back, I was in and out of doctors a lot. I did have a bunch of surgeries and treatments and a lot of infections. I got my tonsils out at 6 because I was just sick all the time. And I moved to the States. I originally lived in Mexico for most of my life and moved back and forth a lot, but eventually moved to the States. When I moved to the States, I realized I suddenly was sensitive to gluten and specific things. The weather was different too. I came from a really dry, sunny place in Mexico to a very rainy, humid, cold place in Oregon. So I just thought, a little bit of, knee pain, this is probably normal in the different diet and whatnot. I didn't really think much of it. I was slower, more brain foggy. I did get mono right before moving to the States. I did have endometriosis somewhere in between. Then COVID happened. And that's, I think, when things really shifted. Not when I got COVID for the first time, but when I got the vaccine. I really just became disabled. And that's when I realized, like, oh no, this brain fog is actually debilitating. I cannot think, I cannot move. I have too much pain. This is unmanageable. And I'm an engineer, so I like to solve questions and read stuff and learn about it. And I've always been convinced. I had this delusion this whole time, even though it's been a long time and not very promising all the time, all the way through, that the solution is simple, that my body knows exactly what to do, and that it's that I just have to help my body nudge it in the right direction and it'll just do its thing. Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tried a million things. I tried 1,000 things, and my only regret is that I didn't join your cohort sooner because I'd seen you. I followed you. I bought your book. I was in your comments asking questions. I was downloading the freebies and following your diet recommendations, and they were helping. But it really moved the needle for me to have someone manage all of these parts because there's supplements and there's diet and there's exercise and there's it's like a lot to manage on my own. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Would you share a little bit more? Because when you first came to me, when you did finally join that cohort and when we started working together, you had a quite a list of symptoms and things you had been diagnosed with. Like you had really, like you said, you're a researcher, right? So you had gone to a lot of people, you had done a lot of research, you had realized a lot of things going on. Can you tell people a little more about like what life was like for you at that point and what kind of things you were dealing with on a daily basis?
first, like I said, I have endometriosis, which started out not being that big of a deal, but I've had 5 surgeries and it's debilitating pain. Started just being painful periods, but then started, I was practically bleeding every day of the month and like horrific pain that woke me up in the middle of the night. So that's one of my big things that I struggle with. So definitely hormonal problems, hormonal acne, body pain. I have arthritis. I have like a bunch of not formally diagnosed immune things, like Raynaud's and POTS and MCAS, and a lot of brain fog. And it makes it hard to communicate to loved ones. Like my mom would just be like, so what hurts? Like, so what's wrong with you, right? And you go to 1,000 doctors. No one really diagnoses you with anything. And that's tough. I did get tested for Lyme, and I have Lyme. I have Bartonella. I was bitten by a tick and a lot of fleas once. So that kind of checks out. What else? Mm, I guess that's maybe it. And
Yeah.
part of why I finally was like, no, I need somebody to help me was because I was 37, 38 years old. I really want to be a mom. I'd already lost a baby, and my rheumatologist told me, you lost it because of this, right? And as much as everything I'd done and learned had helped, I really needed help trying to figure it out soon because, it's kind of now or never. So that was part of my
Yeah,
motivation too, to try to
absolutely.
get my life back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you had been lurking around in the comments and reading my book and starting to implement some of the things on your own, and you saw some shifts right away. And so it sounds like that's what kind of spurred you, like, okay, I want to dive into some deeper work here. So I think it was just about a year ago that we first started working together in group settings and more one-on-one. And I'd love you to share a little bit about the beginning of your journey, because I know for a lot of folks, they don't just necessarily start feeling better right away. There's a lot that goes into all the shifting and transitioning. And so, yeah, what would that like to make some of those changes and how did that go?
Yeah, I think it's important to tell people up front, and I agree with you that you will most likely not start feeling great on week one or day one, and you will most likely feel a little worse at times as you're healing. I was really happy. I was really excited, and the way it's formatted is really nice because you get a group of people. Having community when you're sick this way is so valuable because nobody gets it. Like nobody knows what it's like to have like the superhuman strength to just feed yourself or work or just exist day to day, and how heroic it is some days and heartbreaking other days, and just have people who understand you, who you can overshare, someone you can talk to with and being on your cohort to me was it, because I've thought about it, and I call you my coach to like my friends and family because they kind of don't they know Jen by now, but they kind of can't place who or what you are, right? But like being part of this cohort is having a nutritionist and having kind of like a doctor in a way to manage the supplements and things, but also like a therapist in some ways to manage my life emotionally. And it's it's and having that cohort of
Mhm.
people, having just community, it's been invaluable for me in my um path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it was hard physically, but it sounds like you really had the supports around you that you felt like you needed. You had the community, you had the consistent check-ins. Um, and then yeah, can you share a bit about some of the things that you were implementing and especially highlighting maybe the things that you feel like have had the most impact for your healing journey over the last year? Like what has made the most of a difference, do you think?
Right away. And it's funny, you don't think that just shifting your diet to very simple things, just chicken and veggies and the soup will like hit you as hard as it does, but it's kind of magic in a way. It really Jen walks you through a system to rebuild your whole digestive tract. And right from the get-go, things like my neuropathy that I couldn't get out of bed and walk without pain went away just with the diet changes, and that was week one or two. So there
Wow.
were symptoms that improved immediately. Others took longer.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm sorry, what was the question? I still have brain fog.
No, you're fine. Yeah. So the soups, it sounds like, was a really big, huge shift for you to actually go through the whole soup protocol, which I know for a lot of people is really intimidating. Everyone dreads like when Jen's going to tell them to do the soup diet, right? But you saw such a difference with it. It like really instilled some faith in you. And yeah, just share some other things that you feel like made a really big difference for your symptoms.
Great. Yeah, one of the other, for me, a giant thing was lymphatic work.
Yeah.
That's really helped. I think maybe some of the removal of heavy metals has probably really made a big difference. But but yeah, the soups I think are magic, and you don't think that a sip of soup will can like knock you off your socks for real. In kind of the best way, because eventually like you really are like regrowing your whole digestive tract, which is where all of your immune system is and where your
Yeah.
neurotransmitters come from, and it is life changing. Yeah, soup is magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, soup is magic, but I appreciate you brought up the lymphatic massage and the detox piece as well, because I know there were times when you felt like you were kind of plateauing, maybe had gotten better and then felt like you were getting worse again. And we really kind of realized that your body was detoxing faster than it could keep up with. And so, really bringing in that deep lymphatic massage and that other detox support seemed to really help move the needle when things felt stuck. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I do want to say that it's you have to be an active member of your own health too. Like don't expect to just follow instructions and sit there and magically heal. Like you have to kind of experiment on yourself almost a little bit to like really keep an eye on what foods agree with you, like what type of movement is better for you and try. Jen will give you like a giant array of options of like make sure you're getting direct sunlight and outside air and but like actually do these things, actually keep track of what moves the needle for you and what your body's telling you. Like listen, really listen and keep trying again and again and again until something works. It'll work. You just have to be an active participant in that process. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well said. Yeah. And so for the 6 months, you went through kind of the foundations program, and we really got all the nutrition and the detox and the lifestyle, all the kind of stuff that you've named in place. And then you also joined afterwards, you joined the advanced nervous system cohort as well. And I don't know if you want to share anything about how that experience was made helpful for your journey as well, or what that added for you.
That advanced course was awesome. I didn't expect to want that from the or for that to even be a possibility within the,
Hmm.
the the scope of things that you offer. And I thought like I'm a very
Yeah.
spiritual person. Like what? Like I this is I don't but I did it anyway because the first one had made such like a life-changing impact on me that I thought, all right, let's give it a shot. It's been invaluable. It's changed the way I see like religion and myself. And I have this amazing group of people in that I met in the cohort. Like I think they're so wonderful. And I've learned so many techniques to even just work through things emotionally, which I think is such a big component of healing that that a lot of times if we don't have like trust in like the universe or life or our bodies or ourselves so that we can relax, like our body will never heal, if that makes sense. If we can't find like the existential release of just trusting and allowing your body to do what it knows how to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a big piece as well for you. And yeah, it was so lovely having you in that cohort and just hearing your insights every week and just feeling like you had the permission to really explore your emotions and your spirituality just in your own unique way. So yeah, I'm so glad that you joined. Yeah, and that wrapped up and you're just continuing on in your journey. So, it's been just about a year. So obviously, there's still things that you're working on. You came in with a lot of stuff going on. So there's still things that you're going to be working on and healing for a while. But would you share a little bit about what your life is like now in terms of symptoms you deal with day to day versus what they were like when you first came in?
I would say right now my symptoms are like a 60, 70% improvement. They're not gone,
Yeah.
but they are greatly improved. I feel like I can exist and function in my life and like I know myself and I have tools and I have resources to move forward and continue healing. I do mean to join the consistent
The alumni?
the ongoing
Yeah, yeah.
group. I haven't and I'm traveling a little bit, but definitely planning on continuing this process because I know it's not a one and done. I know it's not just do 1 year of this and you're good. It's
Yeah.
kind of a lifestyle. And until I feel strongly in remission, I will definitely take advantage of the resources available with you.
Yes. Yes, and that's our ongoing alumni group that our folks can join when they just kind of are wanting that long-term support in their journey. So yeah, when you're ready, we'll love to have you in there. But wow, that's incredible. I mean, 60 to 70% better. It's like night and day when you are really in the gutters in a health crisis. So I'm so happy for you, Maggie. That's incredible to hear.
It's life and death. Yes. Thank you so, so much, Jen.
Of course. Do you want to say anything else when it comes to just someone who might just be starting out on their journey or is debating whether they want to start on this journey? What do you want people to know? What would you like to share?
I would just say do it. Stop thinking about it. That's what I wish I'd done. And yeah, and just don't give up.
Beautiful. Okay. Thanks, Maggie.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen.